Now let's have a look at the day's business news. And France 24's Cole Stangler is with us. Cole, you're starting, aren't you, with that ongoing saga of TikTok, been rumbling all week this, the popular Chinese-owned video app. Got a deal to find new owners in the US. It may finally be taking shape just days before this potential ban that Donald Trump talked about comes in.
That's right, Stuart. President Trump had threatened to ban TikTok in the U.S. by Saturday if the Chinese owner doesn't sell its American operations. In the last-minute scramble this week to reach a deal, retail giant Walmart is the latest player to be involved. The company would reportedly take a major stake in a new U.S.-owned TikTok alongside tech firm Oracle. But TikTok's owners in China are aiming to sweeten the pot even more. They're reportedly ready to hold an initial public offering of the global app on a U.S. stock exchange, a move that would further open up TikTok to American investors. Kaimon Nedelek has the details.
The clock is ticking for TikTok. Its owner is scrambling to broker a deal with an American partner ahead of the 20th of September deadline, which would see the social media app banned stateside if a US buyer is not found. A potential deal with Oracle and Walmart is in the pipeline, but US officials are unlikely to bite if that means the app's Chinese owners, ByteDance, keep a majority stake in the company. It comes after talks with Microsoft fell apart, although not according to the president.
Well, we're making a decision. We spoke today to Walmart, Oracle. I guess Microsoft is still involved. We'll make a decision soon.
The US has claimed that TikTok is a serious threat to national security, fearing that data from the app's roughly 100 million American users could be mined by Beijing. To further sweeten the deal, the app would launch an IPO in the next year, allowing American investors to get in on the action. But it's not just Washington that must get on board.
我们敦促美方尊重市场经济和公平竞争的原则，遵守国际经贸规则，停止将正常的经贸合作政治化，为外国企业在美投资经营提供开放、公平、公正、非歧视的营商环境。
It's the latest chapter in an increasingly tense trade war that has seen both sides impose tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars in goods, with the US urging its allies to shun Chinese technology.
Let's take a look now at some of the day's trading action. European markets opening in negative territory to close out the week. The CAC 40 here in Paris, you can see they're down about 0.1%, actually regained a little bit now, just down about 0.1%. Shares on the FTSE also down in negative territory. So you can see here down more than 0.1%. Shares in Frankfurt up just over the flat line. Uncertainty over the health crisis weighing on investors. Stalled talks over stimulus in the US also having an effect on the markets. Now over on the Asian indices, we saw some very slight gains to close out the week. The Nikkei and the Kospi both just over the flat line. Shares on the Hang Seng, meanwhile, as you can see there, just up over 0.5%. Now, turning here to the next story in France, where the government is set to receive some stinging criticism over a planned trade deal with South America. A public commission asked to look into the deal has called it, quote, a missed opportunity for the environment. It says the EU hasn't used its leverage enough when it comes to the topic of sustainable development. The deal between the EU and Mercosur was signed last summer, though it still needs national governments to give the green light. President Emmanuel Macron has already threatened before not to sign off. He's argued Brazil needs to improve its conservation of the Amazon rainforest. Now, the director of the United Nations World Food Program has put out a plea for help. Addressing the UN Security Council, David Beasley said some 30 million people worldwide are at risk of starving, a challenge accelerated by the pandemic and the economic downturn. Beasley called on the world's most well-off to play their part and donate directly to the World Food Program. Take a listen.
Well, worldwide, there are about 2,000 billionaires with a net worth of $8 trillion. In my home country, the United States, there are 12 individuals worth $1 trillion. I'm not opposed to people making money. That's not the issue here. But humanity is facing the greatest crisis any of us have seen in our lifetimes. And it's time for those who have the most to step up, to help those who have the least in this extraordinary time in world history.
And finally, a big win in court for one of the world's top football stars. According to the European Court of Justice, Argentine striker Lionel Messi can trademark his name. Puts an end to a 9-year dispute involving the EU's Intellectual Property Office and Spanish brand Masi. The sportswear company had argued its logo would be confused with the logo of Messi's own brand. An argument ultimately rejected by judges. Good news for Messi then, Stuart, though. Worth pointing out, he already is the world's highest paid footballer. Last year alone, made just over 100 million euros.
100 million?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
It is pretty messy, as you said. Rush goal,